call the Chesapeake Subcommittee to order. We've got 4 bills on the docket today. I see Senator Cosgrove here. Sir?
Morning, sir. Afternoon, I guess. Yeah, sorry. Take the roll. It's been a long day.
You want us to take a roll?
Yeah, let's take the roll, please. All right, a quorum is present. All right, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 very simple and short bills for you today. Senate Bill 867 it was actually requested by the City of Virginia Beach. This simply eliminates the need to notarize permits that are issued by the Wetlands Board. Right now, the permit has to go through the Army Corps of Engineers, the Virginia Marine Resources Commission, and the Virginia Beach Wetlands Board itself. This whole notarization thing is just another step in the process that has been problematic because they have to find a notary for each one of these permits. So this is actually requested by the city, and that's why I'm carrying it.
Okay, any questions for the patron on this bill? There is someone online to speak in favor of the bill. That's the only one I see is Vic. Not present. All right, well, good. Won't stop the train then. All right, any other questions for the patron on this bill?
Virginia Beach. Yes, sir.
Any questions? All right. All right, we've got a motion properly seconded on Senate Bill 867. Go to the voting board.
Vote no, Mike.
All right, the bill passes out 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, and you have one more bill?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The second bill is Senate Bill 1152. This bill simply requires that the Virginia Marine Resources Commission develop an expedited permitting process for entities of the United States government, like the Navy and the Coast Guard. During the wetlands process, and this is also requested by the City of Virginia Beach, during the wetlands process, the government has numerous requests that have to go through the whole wetlands process. It takes up a lot of time in Virginia Beach. Basically, the Navy always, has to still go through the Army Corps of Engineers and VMRC. This would just ask VMRC to develop an expedited process. The code now says it may have a process. This basically changes may to shall and says you shall have a process. And that's the bill.
All right, questions for the patron? Yes, sir. Delegate Volva.
Yeah, no, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Senator, I guess I wanted to understand a little bit more about what exactly we're expediting and I guess the universe of things that are being expedited. Because I know the second part about this, with your subsection B, it says you shall have an expedited process for general permits. And that makes a good deal of sense because they're meant to be simpler. I guess I am a little bit concerned that we would now have a shall for all other permits, some of which might be more complicated than others. But I was just trying to get a sense of how broad this is, and yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I answer the delegates. It's as broad as VMRC would care to make it. Basically, the intent of this bill is really for entities of the United States government, whether it is the military, the Navy, the Air Force, Coast Guard, or even any of the civilian entities that may have to go through the whole wetlands process. VMRC would define what that expedited process is, and that would then take the onus off of the local wetlands boards. They have to deal with all of these permitting applications that come through each and every month.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
And I guess in terms of having this apply to military bases, Army operations, I guess can you confirm that this section of the code only applies to them, or does this sweep in other types of land uses?
Mr. Chairman, I believe it only is going to apply to the way that the bill was originally drafted. It said that entities of the United States government would not have to go through the wetlands process. We felt that it was better to let the VMRC define the process themselves. It doesn't say how the process has to be done. It just says they will have a process. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So I guess, though, my question was, by saying shall in this, it no longer says that it would apply to military bases. And what I think I get the sense is it applies to any kind of permit. And so regardless of
Well, Mr. Chairman, what I'd say to Delegate Bulova is basically it says the commission shall, in conjunction with local wetlands boards and other affected state and federal agencies, develop administrative procedures to expedite the processing of applications for permits required under this chapter. If you're more comfortable putting in language that specifically says entities of the United States, I'm more than happy to consider that a friendly amendment, if that gives you comfort.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Delegate Bulova.
Yeah, and then I guess let me see if other people have any questions
Sure.
or comments. But I think that was what I was getting at, was this is no longer just narrowly tailored to those particular entities. Okay. I guess if read broadly, you would now be having an expedited permit process for all applications that would be coming in.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that could be an instance. I think the VMRC would have the final authority on how to deal with that.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for the patron?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Delegate Will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
Does VMRC have the ability to do this?
Mr. Chairman, I say yes, they absolutely do. They have a very a robust regulatory process. They have some really great subject matter experts there. In the code, like I said, right now it says they may. This just says do it.
Delegate Williams-Graves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question for the patron. In it going from a may to a shall, why is that necessary when it is permissive now?
Mr. Chairman, Delegate, I would just say that basically it hasn't been done up to this point. Sometimes a little push is needed. Right now, the Navy has a large number of permits that have to go through the whole wetlands process at the City of Virginia Beach. And again, this is not my idea. This is something that the City of Virginia Beach has asked for because basically it just really reduces their workload and basically lets the VMRC do their job.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, at this time, let's see if anyone wants to speak in favor of the bill. I see one person online, Mr. Vic Nichols is signed up to speak for it. Mr.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Anything that will move the process along, we would definitely appreciate. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions or comments about the bill? Yes, sir. Delegate Bulova.
Could we, if we got a representative from VMRC that might be able to
Sure.
provide some guidance for us?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jamie Green, Commissioner of MRC. Before we start, we have no position, but I'm here to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for coming up and answering questions. And I'm trying to better understand how you would interpret expediting the processing of, right? And so, can you really do that? And I guess I'm remembering from the Incredibles movie, Mr. Incredible saying that if everybody's special, nobody's special. And whether that, again, I understand there are certain types of permits that, can be expedited. Other ones can be very, very complicated. And I just hate to tie your hands with an expedited process for things that actually deserve to go through a normal process.
I appreciate the question there. Thank you. Mr. Chairman and committee member, we are already bound by law, once a completed application is finished, to have it before a hearing within 45 days. So we kind of already have an expedited process in place once the application is fully completed, to where it goes from start to finish in 45 days with us. Now, we can't necessarily determine, when it says other state and federal agencies, we can't determine what Army Corps and some of the others may do.
All right. Dr. Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a question for the patron or for the individual from BMRC. Can either of you speak to what specifically the City of Virginia Beach is trying to use this expedited process for? What projects?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, Delegate Lopez, many times the Navy has to go through the wetlands process if they're building certain either temporary or permanent structures to improve readiness, to improve our troops' ability to train, and that type of thing. When we have to go through the whole wetlands process, it adds a lot of time. not necessarily expense, but a lot of time. And when it comes to readiness and training, sometimes that time is not available.
So this is for like the SEAL Training Center or for
At Dam Neck and at Fort Story and actually Little Creek. There are even Camp Pendleton there in Virginia Beach.
and so Little Creek is right next to wetlands.
Yeah, there's wetlands everywhere down there.
All over it. All over it. Thank you.
Okay, so what I failed to do, you have another question, Delegate Baldwin?
Actually, I was going to suggest a proposed amendment.
Okay, let's see if we have anyone who will speak against the bill in the room. Anyone would like to speak against the bill? All right, and now Delegate Baldwin.
And I don't know exact language that we want to go ahead and use, so I'm going to rely on counsel maybe to be able to perfect this. But I totally get, Senator, where you're trying to come from, and we want to make these processes as fast as humanly possible, also realizing that the goal is to go ahead and protect the wetland resources itself. And just because I'm not quite sure how broadly we might be opening this stuff up is perhaps if we could amend it to go ahead and apply just to federal facilities.
That's the way I had it in the first place.
Okay.
But I would prefer it that way.
Okay. And Mr. Chairman, if once council is able to come up with some really great language, I would so move that.
I would second that really great language.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Let's wait till council wordsmiths this.
Well, it's not regarding the amendment, though.
Mr. Chair, we could use, as the senator suggested, pulling in some of that language from his original bill. So potentially on line 12, after applications, inserting of agencies of the United States government, including any branch of the armed forces of the United States.
And I guess I would ask council or ask the patron, Virginia Beach wanted this, so does this knock Virginia Beach out of the expedited process?
Does it knock them out? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, are they, what, you said federal?
Oh, Mr. Chairman, if I might clarify, Virginia Beach would like the federal government exempted from their wetlands process. They don't want to be exempted.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I guess for council, I do want to make sure that we're preserving that may for all the other stuff.
That's fine.
And so is that shall just directed towards the federal facilities the way you wrote that?
So we could create a new subsection that says they shall develop these procedures, and it only applies to agencies of the U.S. government. We could create a subsection C.
Mr. Chair, I'd actually feel better about that.
Yeah, likewise.
Kind of way you had it the first time.
Delegate Williams-Graves, you had a question?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator, the city of Virginia Beach, did they receive any letters in affirmation of this from the military, to your knowledge?
Mr. Chairman, Delegate, no. Not that I know. I don't know. I just know that every wetlands process meeting, which is monthly, there are numerous applications from the U.S. Navy. They are never turned down. They're always perfect. And so basically, Virginia Beach has all of these other things they have to do, and it takes up a lot of time and a lot of manpower. And they would just like to exempt that part from their process.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So, Senator, what was the reason behind changing? Because we each have a deliberative process. So in the Senate, what was the reason for wordsmithing it to where you are now? It's just ease of.
I think it was just ease. We had a lot of bills before the committee. I think they figured that was the most expeditious way of attacking the problem. Again, I like the language that we started out with.
The senator, so.
Yeah.
and Delegate Bolova. I was just curious.
All right, so what we have is a motion and a second for an amendment, line amendment, and council is it?
Would that be a substitute? That would be a substitute.
Would it be a full substitute now, or would it be a couple line amendments here and there? It's
you can update a concept that everybody's discussed.
Okay, so we're gonna.
Because essentially you'd be unstriking the may and inserting a subsection B, and then having subsection B, B, C.
We can do that, yes. But that's a good point. We need to unstrike the may. Or, sorry, shall. Shall. Thank you.
All All right.
And then we
the
would
patron's
insert-
fine with
then we
the
would
way
insert
we're
the
trying to do
language.
this.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
All right.
I
So,
prefer your way.
so I will make the assumption that the committee is going to vote on the motion that's in front of us as amended in concept to look at it again at full committee. Okay. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
All
Delegate
right,
Well.
just so I'm clear now. So council talked about a new subsection. The new subsection will cover the federal only?
Yes, sir.
We're not doing that in A.
Correct.
Okay.
We're going to leave it with may and then create a new subsection to just apply to.
If, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, yes.
If LeClerc could you read basically what the original, because that would be close to what we're getting to, right? Or,
Mr.
I
Chair.
would- I would say that I think with the discussions here between you and your counsel, you'd probably want to go with the language that he would come up with to get in that separate subsection.
okay.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice.
I hear you. Okay.
Okay, it's everybody got a full understanding of concept of what we're trying to do. So it's more or less a substitute. So,
Second.
all right, all in favor of the substituting concept, say aye. All right, so now we have the bill as substituted to more or less the original language that Senator Cosgrove had. Any other discussions or questions on the bill? Committee works on motions.
Second.
All right. We've got a bill properly substituted in front of us, Senate Bill 1152. We'll go to the voting board. All right, the bill report.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
His
You're a yes.
report isn't coming up, Mr. Chair.
Mine says lost connection to the server. Okay, I'm an aye.
All right, so the substitute reports out 8-0.
Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman, you're
Senator.
very patient. Thank you. Delegate, thank you.
So Senator Hanger is here.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You
Good to
have
see
Senate
you all
Bill.
actively engaged here. I
Senate
have Senate Bill 959.
Yes, sir.
The Senate Bill 959 deals with nutrient credits that non-point nutrient credits that can be generated in the southern rivers. We have a methodology. We created the nutrient trading program, as you all are aware, in 2009, and then in 2016 we created or authorized nutrient credits in the southern rivers. But we based that, when we did that, the calculation on a delivery factor based on the Chesapeake Bay model. And what this bill does, initially it was going to prescribe a specific way to calculate for the southern rivers, but recognizing there's higher needs in the Chesapeake Bay, the model, that what was being used really wasn't enough incentive, I guess you'd say, for to have a robust program in the southern rivers. So we ended up with a substitute which basically allows the director to create a method to value these credits. And Shannon Varner's here to speak to it if you need that. I see the director here. They got together and worked out this substitute, and I believe it's a fair way of doing it. So that's what the bill does.
All right, we have a few questions. Delegate Lopez?
No, I don't.
Okay. Senator Williams-Graves? All right, Weber?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This might be for the witnesses, though. Exactly how are you calculating these credits in the southern rivers? These are the rivers that flow the other direction, correct?
Yeah, these are the rivers that do not flow to the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
So,
We're talking southwest that runs towards Tennessee.
Toots River,
Yeah.
New
Correct.
River.
And
New River goes West Virginia.
Touche.
so Mr. Chairman, you were asking about the calculation method now.
Yeah.
It was added in 2016 into the code, and it was based on the Chesapeake Bay program model, and basically took an average of everything that's in flows to the Chesapeake Bay that included that delivery factor that Senator Hanger mentioned, that is based on the impact of those credits on the bay for the TMDL. This just authorized DEQ now to utilize an alternative method that doesn't necessarily use that same delivery factor. And so the industry, DEQ, whomever can come in and propose an alternative methodology that then the director could approve based on the best available science and technology for the southern rivers.
For the question.
Yes, sir. Delegate
All right.
Weber.
So if I'm putting in a nutrient bank in the Southern River area to sell, so for instance, so essentially if Bristol were putting in housing developments or roads or something along those lines, they would be purchasing these credits, correct?
They could be, yeah. If they could not, if they weren't doing it on site, they could buy nutrient credits, yes.
Further question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's buying these credits?
The stormwater permittee, so the developer, the developer that's disturbing land, could be for your housing development. It could be VDOT for roads, who's actually a pretty large user of nutrient credits throughout the state.
Further question.
Delegate Weber.
How are these, in particularly in that area, at least in my recollection, the topography is a little different than the Chesapeake Bay. How does one establish a nutrient credit bank in Southwest Virginia?
The same way you do in the Bay watershed. It is stream restoration is one option. Land conversion, we've had a number of discussions about, is the other option. There are banks in the southern rivers now, both stream and land banks. And as you've seen, stream restoration is the direction that the industry is heading, and that's true in the southern rivers as well.
Mr. Chairman, further question.
So,
stream restoration is obviously where we seem to be going, but land conversion, would that be taking pasture out of farmland and then putting that into, say, vegetation? Is that an example?
That's an example, yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
all right. Any other questions for the witness or patron? All right. Let's see if anyone is here to speak in favor of the bill.
He's
That's him. He's fine.
And no one online, and no. Now we'll take opposition to the bill.
What did all these people show up for?
They're just making sure
They're
that
scared.
we keep everything
They're
okay.
scared of what we're going to do.
I think they want me to talk about hemp farming. You want to talk about hemp?
All right. Any other questions for the patron?
Mr. Chairman, I'll just add, could be tree planting as well. And actually, I do care about the New River, because if I'm on a raft out New River Gorge in West Virginia and fall out, I don't want to swallow dirty water.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Ayes and nays.
Yes, sir.
Move to report.
All right. Motion is properly seconded for Senate Bill 959. Go to the voting booth. Ms. Wilt. Delegate Wilt. Okay. Motion passes 7-1.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so
Chairman.
much.
Thank you, members of the committee.
All right, and Senator Edwards. All right, we'll be at ease, waiting for Senator Edwards. Meeting is called to order. Senator Edwards is here. Yes, sir, Senator.
My bill is similar to Delegate Rousseau's bill, a little bit different, and there's a substitute to that as well.
All right, so we have a substitute on Senate Bill 1013.
Second.
All right, so all in favor of accepting the substitute, say aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed. All right, Senator, Senate Bill 1013 is before us. Let's get it distributed. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Delegate Lopez.
Is this new amendment now make the bill in the cognative Senator or Delegate Rasul's bill?
No,
No.
I don't think so. All right, Senator, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Mr. Palmer's here to explain it better than I can.
All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Chris.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Chris Pomeroy representing the Virginia Municipal Drinking Water Association, which is comprised of about 40 of the larger public water utilities across the Commonwealth. So the bill deals with a class of chemicals, actually 4 chemicals from a larger class referred to as PFAS. And obviously this is an important topic because literally PFAS is an important chemical that's everywhere in commerce and therefore everywhere in the environment, and it's also in the water at this point. It's an important issue, and you've had some bills up here over the past few years to deal with it. And it's one, at least from the water utility perspective, we think we need to continue to take very measured, thoughtful, strategic approaches to how we deal with this so that whatever steps we end up taking, that any investments and costs we're passing along to ratepayers make good sense. Here, the bill, this bill is a testing notification, results notification bill that is tailored to 4 chemicals for which EPA has not yet set regulations but has set advisory levels. And what it would require is that using an EPA-approved test method, when you get a result from one of those methods, there's a detailed reporting process listed there that we appreciate the Senator taking our comments on his bill to amend those reporting protocols so that they mostly align with existing reporting methods for the chemicals that are regulated.
Okay, so I guess the question for you, Chris, and you're very familiar with Delegate Rasul's bill.
Yes.
And that was going after the polluting on the treatment side of chemicals, including the wastewater, if I'm not mistaken. This, however, goes to the drinking water, the delivery. Is that correct? I mean, we're talking about 2 different subjects.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So yes, that is correct. So the 2 bills, it's my understanding they have a genesis and a common problem that occurred in a particular incident out on the Roanoke. The Delegate Rasul's bill, which you acted on favorably previously, went straight to the issue of a particular type of industrial treatment process that was the cause in that instance. And then Senator Edwards' bill is a broader notification concept that deals with the water suppliers statewide.
That was my next question, statewide.
This is statewide, yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions about the bill? Yes, sir. Delegate Sullivan.
Yes, I guess I just want to make sure I understand the bill, which is basically if the concentration of PFAS exceeds the EPA notification level, then we're actually going to notify people? Correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And I guess, so that's a good thing, right? I think it gets at the heart of why EPA put out that notification level. I guess the other part is, can you remind me, so if, when they do go ahead and have a primary maximum contaminant level, so the MCL, if that does happen, does that automatically trigger you having to report that for our waterworks to their customers, or no?
Yes. So when we get to the point when EPA adopts, Mr. Chairman, the maximum contaminant level for the chemicals in question, which they've not done yet, but in paragraph C, the bill anticipates that situation. The the way the program normally works, and this bill mimics, is that reporting is required when you detect above the threshold the regulated chemical. So in that sense, what the bill most directly does is in paragraph B, provide a reporting structure prior to the point of EPA regulation through MCLs.
Gotcha. So, Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
I guess number C, just make sure that we're treating PFAS and putting that in a similar posture to other possible contaminants that they might be testing for, that we would normally alert consumers to that this might be in your drinking water.
Right.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. So, Robert.
So that's all it is. You just get a notification that PFAS is in your water.
Mr. Chairman, so there's yes, in paragraph B, it is a reporting construct. There are several parts to it, so I don't want to overly simplify it. But in line 21 of the substitute, there would be a monthly disclosure by the utility to the health department, and then there are notices to customers through what's called a consumer confidence report, and also the utility's website. That's at lines 22, 23. And then line 24 mirrors the health department's existing authority to require other notifications if it thinks anything is appropriate.
All right.
All right, any other questions? Yes, sir,
Delegate
Delegate Lopez.
What are the 3 EPA methods for analyzing PFAS?
EPA has various methods that are defined by method number. Like, for example, Mr. Chairman, one of them is method 1633. I don't have all the numbers memorized, but the concept is in the drinking water program and in the rest of their environmental programs, whenever there's a chemical for which the EPA wants testing, they go through a process to develop a procedure using different types of lab equipment, such as a mass spectrophotometer, for example, so they can identify what particular chemicals are in any vial of sample. And it's a very elaborate technical process. They have, I think, 3 of these now for PFAS and are developing others.
All right.
And the follow-up question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
So as you lay out in sections in line 27, or line 28, it would have to be an EPA-approved method for drinking water detection. So it would be one of those 3 methods that would be used. It wouldn't be something that was less protective.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Lopez, yes, that's the intent. The idea is to take the proper methods from EPA and use those.
So I think I have failed to move the substitute so everyone can see what we're talking about. So if I could have a motion, we could get this.
Second.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. So Senate bill as substituted, 1013 is before us, and that's what Chris was explaining to us. I guess my last question, Chris, on this would be, it looks like the health department has no financial, nothing financial on the health department, but it looks like to me that the wastewater, it would all fall to the wastewater people. Is that correct? Or the drinking water provider?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, yes. So with the testing and then the reporting that follows from that, we as an industry, we've tried to be kind of cognizant of the special situation there on the Roanoke and come back with some suggestions on the bill that we're grateful Senator Edwards has given consideration of. But yes, so it does fall on the drinking water utilities to follow through on these types of steps that you listed here, and that's it's not a cost-free exercise, but it was one that we thought if the body were going to move in this direction, this is the type of implementation details that we prefer over what was in the introduced bill.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? We'll take some witnesses. So we'll go for the people that are speaking in favor of the bill. If you'd come forward. There is one online, Pat Calvert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pat Calvert on behalf of Virginia Conservation Network. Appreciate Senator Edwards bringing this bill forward. I think this is just asking for a community's right to know if their water is safe And until we have a maximum contaminant level from EPA, this is a good stopgap measure. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pat. I want to make sure we're correct in our stance with the bill in front of us. We need to adopt. We need to adopt the substitute. All in favor of adopting the substitute?
Aye.
Okay. Now we're in the proper position. Thank you. And now those that are against Senate Bill 1013.
Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee, I'm Mike Carlin on behalf of the Virginia Manufacturers Association and the American Chemistry Council. Just 4 quick points on the bill. First, the bill creates a conflicting definition of PFAS in the code because you guys have passed, the House has passed the Delegate Rasul's bill, which has had a very extensive effort to identify what PFAS is with all stakeholders, I would say. And in this case, there's a conflict because PFAS is not identified in the same way as it is in Delegate Rasul's bill. Secondly, the quantity in the chemicals, according to the American Chemistry Association, would require far more reporting than the EPA requires, than EPA guidance. The EPA's Scientific Advisory Board has criticized the science behind PFAS interim health advisories, which are in the bill. And finally, the waterworks companies, I think what we'll see with Delegate Rasul's bill is there'll be a testing by a manufacturer, industrial manufacturer, who cleans a PFAS product. There'll be a testing of the water before they clean it and after, and there will be a report to the water authority if there is PFAS, as identified in the Rasul bill. It's, we believe, incumbent upon the water authorities, just as part of their due diligence, to notify DEQ and or the health department and the public. I don't see why they need to be told in the Code of Virginia to make that notification. I would think it would be part of their due diligence and their responsibility. So we oppose the bill for those reasons. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else against the bill? I've got one online. Sean Swearingen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's Swearingen, and I'm a director with the American Chemistry Council. I'm speaking on behalf of my colleague who wasn't able to make today, but has a statement here. The American Chemistry Council, as written, I haven't had a chance to review the substitute yet, respectfully opposes the Senate Bill 1013. With a large component of this, which, as a colleague referred to earlier, the Manufacturers Association, is that per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, is a broad class of chemicals with a wide range of physical and chemical properties. It's inappropriate to conclude that all the substances within this group warrant the same level of attention, requiring that customers be notified of the presence of any PFAS detected in the water supply would result in undue alarm. At present, speaking to the EPA, there are validated test methods that can detect 29 individual PFAS in drinking water. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has announced its plan to establish a national drinking water standards for 2 of the most commonly detected substances, PFOA and PFOS. The State Department of Health has convened a work group to review the occurrence of several PFAS in public drinking water in the state, and is going to make recommendations as to the need to develop state standards. I appreciate the opportunity to provide our views on the legislation, and we'll review the substitute that was provided this afternoon. We'd be more than happy to work with the committee and sponsor to develop legislation that will focus on those emerging contaminants of the greatest concern for the residents of the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Sir, any questions for the witness? All right. Any other questions? Senator Edwards, last word? Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I guess maybe Mike Carlin can help out or somebody, but in terms of the definition, I'm assuming that we have this definition because that's what EPA came up with in their notification concentration
Yeah,
requirements.
it's my understanding from Chris that there is no clear definition. That's the problem.
Okay, and that's what I thought, is that we can't just replace that definition because it's very specifically tailored to the notification concentration, right, that EPA developed.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Bulova. So I was a little confused by the definition discussion earlier. When Delegate Rasool's bill came through the body, you all did develop a very specific, I think this might have been the point of some of the other testimony, there was a very specific PFAS definition identified. This bill is a little different. It's just different, I would suggest. It's instead addressing 4 specific compounds that are named with the notification levels. So and that definition is a definition of notification level as opposed to a definition of PFAS. So it's a bit apples and oranges.
Right. So Mr. Chairman, if I could, it's not like this subcommittee couldn't take one definition and swap it in, because this is the definition that they're using at the federal level at EPA, right, for this purpose.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Bulova, just so I'm unclear and answer the question right, which definition are you referring to, sir?
I think the definition of what would be covered under notification concentration and PFAS advisory.
Yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, Delegate Bulova, the way the 2 definitions work, the notification concentration is meant to supply a numeric level that in the case of HFPODA and PFBS, those are set at the EPA advisory level. So if you're above, you would notify, and you're below, you're not. It is a little different and a little more complicated with the PFOA and PFOS, because EPA's advisory levels are below the level of quantification, the capability of the lab testing. So those 2 numbers are set so that they reflect the limits of the lab methods. The PFAS advisories are simply a reference to the fact that EPA has selected those numeric advisories for those 4 compounds. And then the third issue, and I hope I'm not making it more complicated, but the third issue is back to the definition of PFAS, such as we addressed during the development of the amendments on Delegate Rasool's bill. That's an issue that others may disagree. I'll just suggest that I don't know that it comes up directly in this bill because the class is not dealt with. Only the 4 named compounds are dealt with in Senator Edwards' bill. I hope that's helpful, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
No more questions, just a comment.
Yes, sir. Delegate Gold.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I guess I'm not quite sure why the manufacturers would oppose a bill like this. I think it is very different than what we're dealing with in terms of the Roanoke issue and what is going into wastewater treatment systems. And in terms of Delegate Rasool's bill, I think that's a great first step. This is really just a matter of once something actually gets taken up into a drinking water system and is going out to your consumers, right? So people are drinking this water. These are our constituents. And all this bill does is say, hey, Houston, we might have a problem by ensuring that the information that's already coming from the water utility, right? And so every year with Fairfax Water, I get a nice brochure that says what's in my water, and you can scan through and all's clear. But if you're getting PFAS in that drinking water, this is a way to kind of raise the red flag and make sure that we're prepared to do something about that. So I see this as a really good transparency bill. And again, this is stuff that our constituents are drinking, and I think they deserve to know that and ask for us to go ahead and take corrective action. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any other comments on the bill? Questions? All right.
For Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
So, are we taking action based on recommendations from the EPA that the EPA hasn't exactly set in stone yet?
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Weber, yes. As to the 4 compounds, EPA has taken a preliminary step referred to as an advisory level. What EPA has not done yet, but has on the drawing board, is developing maximum contaminant level regulations, which in Virginia, the health department incorporates into the binding regulation. So Yes, the bill kind of moves up the starting point for reporting in that sense.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other questions or comments on the bill? All right, so we have a motion on the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I have a substitute motion.
Substitute motion.
I move that we table the bill.
All right, we got a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All right, so there is a motion to table Senate Bill 1013, non-debatable. The bill is before us. The bill is laid on the table 5-3. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
And that concludes our work today.
Are we undone,
Committee
Mr.
shall
Chair?
rise.